Hey guys, it's Ben, bShawReacts. We are working on the documentary for This Is Where I Came In, the Bee Gees. So instead of doing any of the songs, I have been working on a 13-part documentary to the Bee Gees' life and some of their credentials and whatnot, and it's just kind of giving us a breakdown of who they were, where they came from, why they did what they did, the types of music they wrote, all those things. So just letting you guys know that with this series, I am just going to post it straight to, I did some thinking about that. I'm just going to post it straight to YouTube and Patreon at the same time. I still will sprinkle some songs in between so that it's not going to screw up my schedule as far as videos being posted on Sunday and Wednesday for Patreon, Monday and Thursday for YouTube at 5 p.m. Those are all going to stay the same, and it's still going to drop, the albums that it's working on, and I'll just keep that going, and then I'll sprinkle some of these in as lanyard, just some extra. So, yeah, that's enough talking, I think. Just letting you guys know that it's all out there. Patreon's still rocking and rolling. I do have Facebook and, all that stuff. So you guys can find me, bShawReacts. Y'all know how to do it. And other than that, we're just going to keep going. So we're on part 2 of 13. Here we go.
I went to look for them because it was getting, bedtime. And I walked through the town. And I saw all these fire engines, and I thought, oh no, I knew it was behind it. And they did a lot of damage.
So we got to the top of the hill, and there were all the billboards burning, and it was a fantastic sight. And and there was a policeman standing right next to us, and we had our swimming costumes and our towels underneath our arms, And we looked at the policeman, and he looked at us, and what happened, And he said, don't worry, we'll catch him. We'll catch him. And we sort of stood there. Yes, we hope you do, officer, yes. And that was the end of it.
The police did come one day and said, look, they didn't say reform school, but they said it could end up to a point where you would have to go to court and be charged and be sent to a reform school if it got out of hand.
I think actually it was the Manchester police that sort of encouraged my mother and father to go to Australia, take them,
And he said, maybe it's time you thought about emigrating, because maybe these kids, they need space.
So, in 1958, with newborn baby Andy in tow, Hugh and Barbara decided the family needed to make a fresh start.
I'd never heard of Australia, just a strange word to me, Australia. I'm sort of Australia.
When you're 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old, it's an adventure. This is like, wow, I imagine like kangaroos going down the streets of Sydney and all these sort of adventurous place that we're going to go to, exotic, different,
Oh, amazing, adventure. Because that was what was in our spirit. That's why we were always getting into mischief. The idea of what's around the corner really was inside us. So the idea of going to Australia, we didn't even know what that was. But sounds good, let's try it.
The Gibbs settled in Queensland, a state in northeast Australia known for its sunshine, beautiful beaches, and the Great Barrier Reef. Hugh took a job as a photographer. He bought an 8mm camera, and the brothers immediately began making home movies.
I was filming them. I was always the guy behind the camera, because I've always been the technical one. Barry and Robin, I wouldn't go as far as to say that their videotape players are still flashing 12, but it's...
He's gadget man, yeah. Whatever's new, Maurice has bought yesterday. He's that type of gadget freak, But you could see it in those days. His fascination with cameras, his fascination with 8mm filming. So in our very early home movies, the reason you see so much of Robin and me is because Maurice is doing the filming.
We'd film home movies of fights and things, and people like hostage taking, or people blowing up the tower. We used to just come up with some daft stuff.
The humour that we have is a very British sense of humour, and it's really been and always has been strongly influenced by Peter Sellers, Spike Milligan, and Harry Seacombe. They made up The Goons, which was a BBC radio show when we were growing up.
And it was totally left field. They would come out with lines like, right men, are you ready? We leave at dawn tonight. You know, and it'd be very quick and very, very sort of weird sort of sense of humor. It was a very dry English sense of humor. And we got into that big time. We loved it.
No, it's always been there and they always make you laugh. They bounce off one another. Just little things that can make it sound hilarious.
In Australia, the brothers continued their quest for fame. To achieve that goal, they would sing just about anywhere.
We always looked for the best toilets in town.
So we've worked in some of the best toilets, let me tell you.
We'd go and sing in there because of the echo. And there was a great one I remember in Pitt Street, Sydney. No, it was in the park, and it was a great echo, really long, and I mean, we sang these harmonies. They sounded like records.
The brothers took their act to a local speedway, where they sang between races. The crowd showed their appreciation by throwing coins. Bill Gates, a local disc jockey, was impressed and persuaded Hugh and Barbara to let him promote the boys. As the initials BG were everywhere, Bill Gates, Barbara Gibb, Barry Gibb, Brothers Gibb, it was suggested that the trio be called the Bee Gees. Soon, the boys were heard regularly on Gates' radio show. In the summer of 1960, the Bee Gees got their next big break.
The Bee Gees, Barry A., the leader of the group, come here. Barry Gibb and your young brothers. Now, come on, who are you? Which is which? You're twins, eh?
I'm Robin.
Robin?
Maurice.
And Maurice. Now, you all sing together, eh?
That's right.
And your brother Barry plays. Now, come on up here.
This was the first of what would be many TV appearances over the next few years.
I'll swing along and sing along, this time is passing by. I'll drift along and breeze along, just like a butterfly. Cause as long as I'm living, I'll always be giving you my love.
The Bee Gees played county fairs and clubs where they honed their craft as performers. With the act still in its formative stages, show business veteran Hugh became their manager.
My father, bless him, has been unbelievable in our lives. He has been the main instigator of everything that we learned about stage.
Oh, my old man's a dustman. He wears a dustman's hat. He wears goblimy trousers and he lives in a council flat.
Even down to little things like when you go on, smile, because if you look like crap and you feel like crap, so will the audience. Smile, they'll smile with you. He taught us professionalism.
I said, no, hang on, Dad. You're getting past your prime.
And I was doing the clothes. We used to make all the little waistcoats. And we cut an old pair of evening shoes up to make BG and gold leather on the little things, you know.
Every time I think of Mum, I just vision her behind the ironing board, ironing the shirts.
I've washed and ironed 42 shirts when they were going on tour. Barry wouldn't let me send anything to the laundry. I used to wash them, and I didn't have a washing machine. Did them all by hand, and then ironed all these shirts. So I worked hard.
Now if you see a dustman, all looking all pale and sad, don't kick him in the dustbin, it might be my old dad.
When we first started doing professional stuff, we were kind of like a child act doing the clubs in and around Sydney.
You ever see that one at the beginning of Crocodile Dundee? That we work places like that. So to give you an idea, it was very rough.
Working men's clubs and leagues clubs and stuff where they had slot machines and stuff. You had to have a kind of act that would be entertaining to them.
But we always had to put humour into the act, you know. For years, actually, Robin was the comedian in the club act, and I was the straight man, and Barry was the older brother. It was like a mixture of the Smothers Brothers, I guess, a little bit of both. But we did that because the mums and dads loved it. That's what you worked in front of. We didn't work in front of teenagers until we were teenagers.
So Maurice would have a tie that would go up, you know, and sort of a tie with an erection, if you will. Or if you won't, you know. But he would do that during the show, and he would do it in the middle of a song, and it'd be fantastic, you know, because you'd be singing a dramatic song and the tie would suddenly start to come up, you know. And I think the audience loved that stuff, you know, because it's the last thing they expect in the world. So unexpected humour is the best.
In 1963, their dream of becoming stars took a giant leap forward. They signed a record contract. What made the Bee Gees unique at this young age was that they weren't just singers. They also wrote songs, and their very first release was a Barry Gibb original.
Kiss me once, oh yeah, baby. Kiss me twice, oh yeah, crazy. Kiss me 3 times, the 3 kisses of love, oh yeah. Morning,
We released quite a few of our own songs and couldn't get a hit. We tried singing a couple of other people's songs, and we still didn't get a hit. So we thought, well, we'll just go back to singing our own songs because, you know, if we have flops, at least there are flops.
Yep.
tell me that you really care. Run your fingers through my hair. Kiss me once, kiss me twice, and I'm in paradise. Kiss me once, oh yeah.
We'd look at each other and say, we've just made that other step that we prayed that we might be able to do, you know? We've just done our first television show. We've just made our first record. We still haven't had our first hit, but we've made those steps. We were on our way somewhere, you know? We were always on our way somewhere.
Wow. Okay. So there was part 2. And again, it did not feel like 9 minutes have gone by, but it did. So just to give some thoughts, just a little bit of commentary. I remember some of my first performances on stage, and much like them, it didn't really make me nervous to get on stage and perform in front of people. And I was a young kid. I was probably, you know, I really don't know. I was probably 6 years old. I started on the violin. And I remember I took private lessons. I had an older, much older gentleman was teaching me, Mr. Raphael. I remember him like such a vivid picture of him. And he was an excellent musician, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that out there. He taught me so much about music at such a young age. I was a little sponge. I just soaked it all up, and I was like, I'm going to use this one day. Much like them, I was determined to be on stage and playing in front of people and enjoying myself. And I got to do that. Not necessarily to the level of fame of the Bee Gees. But I have videos of me on stage jamming with bands and enjoying myself. And yeah, all that stuff's out there. I try not to bring all that into this channel, just because it was a different lifetime then. I was a much younger guy, and life and times were different, I guess you should say. So not like I was doing any partying or anything like that. There was none of that. I just worked my butt off. I was constantly at work, and then I did the music thing on the side, as kind of like a release of negative energy. Being able to play live shows and be a part of a group of other guys who were kind of in the similar time of life with, you starting out a family and things like that. It was a lot of fun. I got to play some pretty high profile shows. I got to do things, I got to enjoy it. And I went around, I went and played up in like Oklahoma and just different places, and I got to enjoy it. I did. So maybe one day I'll get back to the live music side of it and doing that. But for now, right now, with all the healing and everything that I have to do, and then the kidney transplant, looming over me right now like a big ray of sunshine, just like, and now I'm having some heart issues. So I don't know. I don't know where music fits just right now. other than I can sit down and do what I'm doing now. And that's about it. So anyways, I think that's enough sharing for today. I really enjoyed that video. I'm going to be watching the rest of the documentary and recording those videos as well. And I will share them as I have the time to sit down and create thumbnails and edit it all up together and throw it out there for you guys. So just be on the lookout. We'll see what happens. Okay. Hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you on the next video.